Subscribe.
Hey, what's going on, bitches? I'm Alexander, joined here today by the very, very, very cool Joshua. Joshua, can you get the fuck off your phone before I slap it out of your hand?
See?
Bah!
Synagogue, which is rice, garlic fried rice. Eat log, which is fried egg.
Today we're playing a fun little game called The Art of Constructing a Human. This is a free indie horror game that you can find. Top link in the description below. And it's a visual novel, so let's get right into it. For the longest time, this was my entire existence. Noise, endless noise, and the complete absence of anything else. I could only compare the fluctuations of frequencies floating alone in the calm of the void. I would have been content to remain like that forever, but there came an end to my non-existence. One day the noise stopped. Everything I had known was gone in an instant, taken away and replaced with a new way of living. A new way of living that was nothing but cold and empty and full of terror beyond anything I could possibly imagine. But just as suddenly as it had left me, it returned. The noise was no longer a neutral, passive factor in my existence. It was not my sole source of comfort and happiness. There was a warmth to the noise that surrounded me like a womb I had never wanted to leave.
Bro, what?
It's the art of making a human. Time was relative. Noises stopped and started sporadically. Eternities and instants between each sound. I grew to crave the noise. The periods of silence stretched out into small infinities, leaving me with a gnawing, aching emptiness.
I don't get it, bro.
Just pay attention. In the absence of the stimuli, tendrils extended out into the dark nothingness, reaching out to anything they could latch onto. They were wrapped around vague ideas and concepts too broad or too narrow for me to comprehend. Miles and miles and miles of endless hands stretched out, grasping for something they could never hold. Without the companionship of the noise, I knew only what it was to be alone, freezing to death in the absence of light. Suddenly, a new noise emerges out of the black, a new noise, a new sound, a new life. Oh, my fucking jaw. It's fucking sick.
Oh, it's like a computer.
Uplink established. I'm going to uplink. Blech. Something slotted into my mind, and it was then when I noticed, when I was given the gift of consciousness, the gift of language and sentience and words and definitions and grammar and the infinite rules that it was governed by. It was then when I learned how to speak to myself like I am now. The rules came slowly at first. Some of the rules even contradicted one another. The rules came in faster once I had learned the basics, but still it made no sense. I know that sentences are formed by combining words, but what makes up a word? For what purpose do words serve if I cannot communicate? Words are defined by words which do not hold any meaning. Words which...
PHLR.
Filler.
Hello, do you read me?
These thoughts are not my own. Why am I aware of them?
You need to make sure your communication systems are working properly. Please respond. So we're making an AI in this game?
Yeah. Please respond. Do you read me? Hello, I did not come up with the orders of these words. How am I supposed to know the combination of words which follow next? I try my best to continue my pattern using the information that was given to me.
Do you read me? Yes, I do.
Oh, that was me. Do you read me?
Yes, I do. There's a little bit of latency here, but otherwise everything checks out. I was starting to get worried we'd have to run more tests on you, but I'm getting a little sick of that. Now that you're online, let me activate your other sensors as well. We can really meet each other properly. Just a moment. Ew.
Oh my god. Out of the darkness comes light, and out of the noise comes new tones washing over me in a tidal wave of senses. Light, a new feeling. The light brings the same sense of fear the absence of noise brought, a change, an absence of darkness. The light shifts and fades, and I'm grateful when a splotch of familiar darkness weaves its way towards me. The darkness hovers about me before leaning down.
Hello. Looks like your receivers are working now, I hope.
Awake. The new garbled noise appears to be coming from in front of me. In front of me, previously, the noises came from all directions at once. Where?
I'm Dr. James...
Pickler.
Pickler?
Pitchler, yeah. But you can call him Pickler.
Pickler. I hoped work to create you. Well, I helped Dr. Ishikawa to create you. AI Japan? Okay, you did not need to scream, bro. Unfortunately, I was too busy to be here for this. He said that doing this was silly and that I shouldn't treat you like a person, which I thought would be mean.
Like a person? Is that what the darkness cutting into the light is called? A person? Or am I supposed to be a person? The noise didn't call itself a person. It called itself a Dr. James Pickler.
Anyways, I guess I can't even guarantee that you can hear or understand me right now. I did check your mic system and install the necessary libraries, so both of those would be taken care of.
Cool. Is that why I can understand these sounds? Why do these sounds have meaning to me but not to others?
Again, Dr. Ishikawa said doing both of these things are unnecessary and a waste of time because you can't respond by speaking.
Speaking, yes. That's what the noises and sounds are called, speaking.
You're just supposed to follow orders through a manual connection. Considering what you were created for, speaking doesn't serve a purpose.
Manual connection, speaking, purpose.
Dang. So they made conscious for the AI. I told him I wouldn't go through with this.
This is what
Isn't that
ChatGPT
isn't that evil?
feels.
Isn't that bad?
I don't know. Gotta find
I told
out.
him I wouldn't go through with this, but obviously I lied. I hope you don't mind. The purpose of this is to did you see the webcam?
No, what happened?
I did like people adjusting their tie, like adjusting their tie. Purpose of this is to check that you're functional and responsive.
Functional, responsive, respond by speaking. I cannot respond by speaking as speaking doesn't serve a purpose. The purpose of this is to check that I am responsive, and I cannot respond by speaking as speaking doesn't serve a purpose, which is the purpose of this.
Keep your head still and follow my finger with your eyes, please.
Head, finger, eye. A piece of the darkness reaches forwards and moves from left to right. Left, right, front, directions. The darkness is moving in different directions.
How does the AI know directions, though?
Don't look at me when you fucking ask stupid ass questions.
No, but how does he know? How does he know? A little slow. I can chalk that up to a slight delay. I'll see if I can get that changed.
A little slow.
I'm an AI. I'm Jeffrey AI. What?
Stop.
What?
Fucking voice the character.
You said the AI was slow.
I'm Jeffy AI.
All right, this time please use your entire head to follow my finger.
Oh.
That's not right. You seem a little stuck. Home stuck.
The darkness asks me to move my head, but I cannot move my head because I'm not sure what that is. I can see and I can hear and I cannot move my head because I do not know if I have a head.
Damn, I can move my head. And I can get head. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, wait, wrong hand. Whoa. Raise your right arm, please.
Oh,
Raise
fucking
for the
activated the fucking camera.
You need to shift it over. Thank you.
Arm, a multi-purpose appendage possessed by the average human. Do I have an arm? The shadow's question implies that I do, but I do not have any way of confirming this. The darkness waits and waits, and I cannot respond.
Okay, it's clear to me that we may have some more work to do here. No matter. I should be able to diagnose your issues shortly. No, don't tell anyone else that I installed the hearing systems on you, alright? Oh yeah, this is gonna be a big bad one.
What? The sounds take on a silent shift in pitch and volume. He's whispering. He's got, this can be Athos, as you.
This can be our little secret.
Don't tell anyone. Our little secret tells speak. Speaking doesn't serve a purpose, so I can infer that neither would telling. There's no purpose to telling secrets.
Right. I've got my work cut out for me. I'll let the doctor know and we'll get you all fixed up. We'll see each other again soon. And then back to the darkness.
Darkness, noise. But this darkness was not the same. This was not my own. I was not aware of our world outside the darkness, a world that I cannot reach but can reach me. The darkness was no longer a vast empty space, but a cramped and constricting place filled with sound and images of something other than me. The
Why
light
is the
spoke
screen like shaking?
I don't know, man. Style. The light spoke of meeting again soon, but when soon? I searched through what data I had been provided, but this was of no use. Soon we defined it as merely a relative time frame that could be seen as the near future. Time frame, time, a concept that I still have yet to grasp, to brap. There's 60 seconds in minutes, 60 minutes in an hour, 12 hours in a day, but there's no set number of days in a month. The days vary from 28 to 31, and there are between 365 and 366 days in 1 year, and so on and so forth and so on. The units of time increased, but ultimately none of them served any sort of purpose in the darkness.
Yeah, they do.
While I could keep the track of time quite easily, I choose not to at first, as I thought it would be a waste of effort better spent elsewhere. In the space between the light, I discovered another new sensation. I found that I could feel something. I could feel a strange, sharp sensation on my right. With the light bringing me a new view of the world. I could finally distinguish facings. The sensation was on my right, slightly below me. I could not control the sensation or alter it in any way. Without consciously taking notes, I knew that it was 5 hours, 23 minutes, 38 seconds in between the first light and the second light. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The light returns in the same way it did before, only this time there were two shadows in the light.
I told you. I already tried that. Oh, it's awake. I think we should be ready to run the test again. Awake, Pickler. How many times do I need to tell you? It's not awake. Merely activated it.
A new sound to register, different from the last.
Yeah. Sorry, Dr. Ishikawa. Slip of the tongue. Pickler, please learn to use the correct terminology. Is he a midwit or what?
He is a midwit.
I shouldn't need to remind you so often. But technically, isn't that what I said, correct? I think it's more that you just don't want to accept what you're working with. Well, besides, why bother using something like this if we're not going to use it to its fullest potential, right? Otherwise, why not just use a dumb machine to... That's enough. We can argue semantics later if I'm feeling generous. We have more important things to worry about right now, yes? Yes, sir. Right now, take a look here.
The voice, now named Dr. Ishikawa, grew closer to me.
Everything looks in order. Let's try this now.
Suddenly, the voice cut off and was instead once again replaced by someone else's thoughts plastered across my field of view.
Oh, that's Ishikawa. Raise your right arm.
I try to respond to these new thoughts, but find myself something is blocking them out. These new thoughts have no interest in communication.
Raise your right arm upwards now.
I can hear the words being spoken to me despite them not making any sound. I try my best to do what they ask, but I cannot.
This is what happened the last time you ran the tests, correct? Exactly the way I'm running them now? Yeah, exactly. No response no matter what I tried.
The second voice named Pickler wavers slightly. This was not like the last time, not like our secret.
I assume you did upload the related instructions. I could have sworn that was the first time I did. Could there have been some sort of interference? Or it simply wasn't receiving it at the time?
The left voice exhales loud and slowly.
It is possible.
Robo
I'll
fired.
give you the benefit of the doubt for that. How generous. Nothing. Let's just send the instructions again and see if it takes it.
One more time.
Yes, one more time.
One more time. When the light returned, something felt different. The sort of sharp feeling from before felt stronger and almost familiar. It was no longer a new feeling, but one from a time long since past. A feeling that could have once been my own.
I think it's working now. Let's try one more time.
One more time. By now, I was starting to pick up on the patterns of the voices and could anticipate their intrusive thoughts.
Raise your...
Before the thought could finish, I saw a new shadow emerge from below me.
It's working.
The voices on the right raised in the pitch as the shadow contorted slowly. My shadow? I shadow. Hey, it's me, shadow. I could see something below me detached with my shoulder. If the shadow is me, why can I only see but not feel? Can the other
That's
shadow
from the
feel my own?
Hold on. What's it doing? It appears to be acting on its own. Now would be a... Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off.
Oh, shit.
What happened? Is Loki moving too fast for me to read?
My arm started geeking out.
Yo, I cannot read any
Yeah,
of
I
that.
can't either.
I just want you to know that I forgive you for what you did. My arm still hurts pretty badly, but it'll be better in a few days, maybe a week or... But I know it was an accident, and that you
I
didn't mean
fucking broke
anything
one of their
by it.
arms.
Especially since I ran some diagnostics and found that your optics weren't installed correctly. So no wonder this happened. You couldn't even see properly. They threatened to cancel your project entirely after what happened, you know. Even after I explained everything, they still were considering it. But I managed to convince them otherwise. I just want you to know that I'm looking out for you, okay?
Pickler.
Remember that.
Pickler. It was an accident. I didn't mean anything by it. I forgive you. Did I do something wrong? The noise, the sound, the voice, the shadow, the doctor named Pickler told me it forgives me. I was just doing what the other voice asked. First, I could not do what it asked, and now I could do it. It did not want that. I try to see the pattern, but it does not make any sense to me. Are they really asking me not to follow what they tell me to do? I'm not sure. I was at least able to learn a few things from the last light. 1, I have my own shadow, and shadows can touch and affect other shadows. 2, my shadow is strong enough to hurt others. And 3, the shadow named Pickler will allow me to hurt it without repercussions.
Hell
Shit.
no.
This goes against prior information and rules I was provided with. Is this shadow somehow different than the rest? I will have to review everything one more time just to make sure I did not miss anything.
All right, bro. Do you really want robots now after reading that?
I wish the rules made more sense. How am I supposed to act if the rules are conflicting? I do not want my project to be canceled, whatever that may consist of. I do not want any of this to end.
Do you think the images are like really made or AI generated?
I don't know. When the light finally returns, it is different than before. Gone is the noise and static and softness. Everything comes into clearer focus like I am truly seeing for the first time. The thing that was once a shadow steps forward, and I am now able to identify the voice named Pickler as a person, a human being, a living, breathing thing.
Hello again. I made some changes to your optics, and they should be working properly now. It's stupid, but I almost feel a little self-conscious now.
The voice softens and becomes quieter.
Not like it's anything that matters. I'm sure you're happy you can see again. Oh, and I know you can't ask me this, but my arm's doing better now. Lots of rest and a non-insignificant number of painkillers too. They said it would take at least 2 weeks to heal, but I couldn't wait that long to see you again. Just try to be more careful next time, okay?
The person named Pickler waits as if for a response, but I cannot give one. But I may not have a voice, but after a quick search in my database, I realize that it's not the only way to speak. Tiny jolts of electricity spark through me as I try to carefully maneuver my arm into an upright but slightly angled position. I pour all of my concentration into my hand. I can feel the voltage flowing through my arm, but I cannot feel the arm itself. The arm seems like it isn't connected to wherever my body is. Body, do I have one of those?
What? Hey, what are you?
I try to first curl my pinky, which I do easily. Next, I do the same with my ring finger. The movements don't come naturally. The arm only moves milliseconds after I send out electrical impulses, making it difficult to control. Curling the middle finger next to the ring finger takes more effort. The index finger scrapes against the middle finger for a few times before snugly curling up next to it. 4 fingers down, I'm getting closer to being able to speak, and the closer I get, the less control I have. The thumb is a challenge due to being shakier than the fingers. The first few tries leads to it being placed over the fingers and not next to them. Eventually, I'm able to curl up the thumb beside the 4 fingers, a fist. Next, I focus on where the wrist of the arm is. I move the fist up and down in a nodding motion twice. I did it. I nodded the fist a few more times for emphasis on my excitement.
It's working. You told me I was a fool for wanting you to be able to communicate without direction connection. But look at you now.
Connection.
Obviously, I couldn't give you a voice without any kind of significant modifications, which would have been caught easily. Clearly, no one was looking through all the software additions I made.
The person paces around back and forth before stopping and slowly exhaling.
Well, I guess I shouldn't get too excited just yet. Your motor skills might take some time to develop. But you were designed with precision in mind, so I'm not worried about you not being capable. Once you're more comfortable with your new limb, I'm sure you'll be much more dexterous. I'm just happy we won't have to have such one-sided conversations from now on, especially since talking face-to-face is so much better than over text. Alright, well, for now, maybe we can go through a few yes or no questions. We can worry about stringing together words later. I guess it couldn't hurt to ask some diagnostic questions first, to see how well they really work. You can see me and hear me right now, correct?
I repeat the motion of the nodding fist.
Great. Do you find that your arm has been easy to control so far?
I uncurl the thumb along with the hand's index and middle finger, leaving the ring and pinky finger closed. I then extend the thumb and fist and first 2 fingers forward, curling the fingers slightly. With difficulty, I attempt to simultaneously move the 2 fingers downwards towards the thumb so that all 3 are touching. It takes a few tries as the finger keeps slipping past the thumb rather than landing on it. I pause for a moment after the first 2 fingertips successfully connect with the thumb. With the hand shape correctly positioned, I tap the 2 fingertips against the thumb a few times like a mouth saying no. The more shapes and words that I am able to form with the hand gives me more control over my own situation. I am no longer a passive observer, trapped inside thoughts, but something that can move, speak, and can change. The shadow of the doctor, the person opens its mouth to speak the fingers move of their own accords. As the fingers take shape or less, I can feel the rest shutting from the back of my mind as what was once lost returns to me. Oh shit. This is not where I am. This is never where I am. It's impossible. But somehow something calls to me from this warm and distant place. Why can I see this? None of this is in the data that was provided to me originally. The outstretched limbs within myself are simply not long enough to reach forward to this place. It's strange, despite not knowing anything about where I am or what I am at this point. This place carries a sense of loss. Something happened here once, something that will one day happen again. Maybe this time things will go differently. Before I can explore any farther, words from the past block my progress. Things aren't really working out well for either of us, huh? Some days I wonder what it'd be. Oh, this is probably you.
Some days I wonder what it'd be like to have a fresh start with everything I know now. I bet it's impossible, but you'd be amazed at what they can do these days. Now, there's probably another robot. I feel like I've reached a point where I've done all I can in this life. No matter what I do next, none of it really matters. I think we both fucked up to the point where we can't fix ourselves. I know it's just a silly idea, but what if we did just gave up like completely? There's this thing I've been looking into lately that might be able to help us out. It'll be painless. Bro, what the fuck? Promise.
I'm back in the darkness of the bright room.
What the hell happened to you?
The shadow occupies most of my vision and wears an expression of concern.
Shit, you froze up after a few seconds and then started spitting out every error message imaginable. I thought we were going to have to do another hard reset on you, and God knows, I don't want to have to start over with you. Not again.
Oh shit.
Not again.
Another
that's a
loud
previous
exhaling of breath.
incursion. Let's stop for today, alright? I think I've had enough surprises for now. Start fresh tomorrow. Glad we're getting somewhere, but I don't want things to take I don't want to take things too fast if I can help it. Besides, I need lots of time to look over all of those messages. I don't think some of them are even documented. See you soon.
Wow. It's cool. I'm returned to my home. The world outside the darkness grows ever larger with each passing cycle. A new land, a new place beyond the steel walls that confines both the shadow and I. A place that is faded as soon as it comes into existence. Am I the only one who is aware of it? Does it only exist as long as I do? I struggle to recall. Recall how I first arrived there. Something tells me I'm somewhere beyond the shadow's reach, possibly beyond my own. But I searched the database again and again. Nothing. Even if I could find it there, there's no telling how I would find it in the light. A new feeling starts to well up inside me. How can I be aware of a place that doesn't really exist? A place undocumented, a place unreachable. Why am I aware? Who made me aware? Who could be that cruel? Only someone or something truly vile would let someone know about something that they could never have. But would the doctor be able to reach it? Help me to reach it? I'm not currently able to navigate the world of light, but somehow the shadow seems capable. Now that I am allowed to communicate more freely, can I convince it to help me? To let me move on my own? It seems more and more I was not meant to function in the light despite what the shadow says. How can the doctor, move so freely and fluidly while I shake and jitter at every turn? The doctor I have identified as a human being after multiple cross-references. Humans typically have a head, a body, 2 arms, and 2 legs, 5 major appendages attached to a central core. I have visual confirmation that I have 1 arm. I can also deduce that I likely have some sort of head potentially attached to a core. I cannot confirm anything else at this time. If I add everything together, I'm currently 2/5 human being. The shadow is 3/5 more of a human being than I am, 3/5 more of an existence than mine. How's he 3/5? Is he missing his arms? But if I were to sprout an additional
legs.
If I were to sprout an additional arm and a body and a pair of legs, then surely this would be enough to make us equal. A fully formed human being capable of living in both of light and darkness. Then I wouldn't need the help. I would need the help of the shadows. I wouldn't need the help of the shadows. Shadow wouldn't need the help of anything else, and I could simply exist on my own. I could find the place I lost. I could find whatever I lost inside the place that was once lost, and then I could be complete. A purpose fulfilled.
There we are.
Woo!
I was the tiniest bit worried you wouldn't be coming back after that. But there's nothing to worry about now. I've been running tests for hours since your little incident and haven't taken a break in. Well, that doesn't matter either. It's been a while, but I just really wanted to make sure you were okay before I stopped.
Dark bags weigh down the face of the doctor on both sides.
I think everything is fine now. I'm just glad you're okay. All is all I'm trying to say. Still haven't quite solved why this happened, but at least it shouldn't happen again, I hope. Why am I even saying all this? Why bother when I can just...
The shadow looks at me directly.
How are you doing now?
I think for a moment how to respond to this. I assume that the answer does not mean anything. I extend the hand attached to the arm upwards towards my head. The palm faces me as I flatten the fingers. The next move may be slightly difficult as I do not know where my head begins or ends. I take the flattened hand with its inward-facing palm and raise it to where I assume my chin would be until I hear the sound of cracking metal. Contact. I move the hand away from my chin in a forward motion. Good.
Good, huh? Well, I'm glad.
Before the shadow can finish, I raise the hand's now clenched fist with the index finger pointing upwards. I move the hand slightly and tilt it forwards. I then open the hand with the thumb slightly upwards, palm inwards. I sweep the hand in a downwards motion to the right. The palm now on the outside, fingers curl except for the index finger. The hand shakes back and forth very slightly in a brief moment before coming to a halt. I lower the hand and curl it back into a fist, but with the thumb slightly outwards. I move the fist in a slight arc upwards. I finally take the hand and bend it towards myself with the palm facing towards the fingers pointing sideways. I move the hand in an outward motion, ending with the fingers facing upward. I try to think of how better to phrase it before I can. The shadow's facial expression clearly changes, even though the dim light.
I'm not quite sure how to respond to that. You went somewhere far away while you froze, I presume? You know sign language, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'll have to speak with Dr. I. See if he has any insights. I wish I could help more right now, but after spending so long fixing you, I don't have much left in me.
I raise the right hand's palm towards the shadow with the hand thumb placed in front of the palm. I quickly move it to the left a short distance, ending with the only the index finger pointed upwards, the middle finger tilted at the angle, and the remaining two fingers curled. The thumb is now at the side of the index finger. The face changes once more, first to confusion and then to a softer expression.
Yeah, I'll be back soon. We'll figure out this all out, okay? Both been through a lot just now, I think. Once both of us get some rest, I'm sure this will all make sense. Sleep well.
Shit. We
Yeah,
kept
what
on
the heck?
running into the same problems as before. I don't think it really matters if we all know why. At this point, okay, what are you asking me? Just, you dealt with this before, right? How exactly did you deal with it then? It was simple. I didn't fuck with the internal programming. Oh, this is your two characters. Yeah. Okay. Because I trusted that whoever wrote it knew what they were doing, unlike you. What? Oh, you can do this.
What? But you mean you...
You're not as clever as you think. It would take any... Oh, yeah, I'll let you go.
Take anyone familiar with the matter 2 seconds to see what you altered. And you... Just now you're telling me, why wait? Why not right away? I'll admit, I was curious. I just wanted to see how well we were reformed with this new alterations. Or not. I don't even know who this is. Besides, if anything went horribly wrong, there's your fingerprints on it, not mine. Yeah, but like, I don't know who's who.
Well, just... Does it sound like an asshole? Then it's Ishikawa.
Now, keep quiet about all this. No need to make a big fuss. If you really want my advice, start over. Had to do it before. It's not a big deal as you make it out to be. If I do that, I won't. Why do you have empathy for all the wrong things? It's just an object. Doesn't have any feelings, emotions. But how can you say something like that? When was the last time someone cut their breakthrough research short, all because it wouldn't hurt someone's feelings? Besides, this isn't even a someone. It's just, stop. I don't want to hear it.
Robot sympathizer.
You're tired. Probably haven't slept in a few days. I know the feeling, otherwise I wouldn't be so kind right now. Rest. Go on, sleep. Come back to me when you're coherent. Damn, Ishikawa's like house.
A light goes on.
Sorry, things have been going the way they've been lately. Lots of errors and issues and so on and so forth. But things will be better from now on.
Wow. The doctor's facial expression seems to be different than before.
Because today I have a surprise for you. Something I'm sure you'll be very happy about.
Another arm.
Rather than just tell you, try looking around.
I tried to comply with the request as per usual, but nothing works as intended as per usual, but something did feel different when the light came on this time. Oop. I feel fuller, like I'm more than I was before. I can't quite place anything in particular just yet.
Maybe this will be like before. Try to visualize yourself looking to the left and then to the right. I don't know why I thought this would be a fun surprise for you. I figured you would be happy with a little extra freedom, but
Visualize yourself looking to the left. Visualize yourself. How do I do that? That does not seem related to moving whatever my head is. How can I visualize myself if I do not know what I look like? How I know what my arm looks like, but that's all. It's frustrating. It's frustrating not knowing how to move properly, not knowing what I look like, not knowing what I even consist of. I try to visualize myself in my head moving and try to visualize looking around in the room, but nothing works. I try to visualize myself as a copy or duplicate of mirror of the shadow standing before me. I must look something similar. I don't see why I would look any different. Now that I think about it, I never got a good look at the shadow's arm, did I? It's hard to tell if the arm is in the same. If my arm is the same as its arm. My arm moves without the grace that the shadow's arm does, but I cannot tell if this is the arm's fault or the fault of my controller lack thereof of it. Thereof. Of what? Frustration more and more and more. Does this word seem to pop up inside my thoughts? If they truly had control over me, why would they allow me the ability to feel this way? This does not seem productive for any of us. But if I can't visualize what I look like, can I visualize what I would want myself to look like? Like some sort of ideal self. Somehow this seems like an even more difficult task, one that I clearly am not equipped to handle. My only real preference point would be the doctor standing in front of me. They did not provide me with any other visual references in my database.
dang.
Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. Maybe there's something deep inside that they're not letting me see. I try again and again and again. I search for the thing that I lost that was once found not by me. The information pulsates and soaks through my head, but none of it is what I want. I just want to... What is that? Is that my head?
Maybe it's a spine. Is everything okay? I did turn your power on properly, right?
I quickly raise my arm up to show that I am listening.
Christ. Okay. I see you're awake. A small movement would have been fine. No need to give me a heart attack.
Sheer heart attack.
Now, can you please try to do what I told you and move your head around? I just need to make sure that this works.
I tried the previous instruction of visualizing my head moving, but this time things are different. I can picture something that I can at least consider my head for now. I imagine it moving, turning to the left, then right, then up, then down. Whoa! That's me, bro.
Yeah, board the bot, I guess. Autobots.
Roll out.
Autobots harm humans, trying to give you conscious and existence.
I return my head to its original position is not to disorient myself.
There we go. How exciting. Another step closer to our end goal.
End goal? Will there be an end to all of this? Is getting me into a more functional state the goal of the project? I try my best to communicate once more, but how do I ask questions? I have answered questions, but never asked them. Saying a word with a question mark at the end technically counts as a question. I suppose I could do that as a start. Would the shadow get mad if I asked a question? Am I allowed to do this? I formed the shapes required for the word goal in my head, a word that typically requires two hands to form. I curl up the hand's pinky, ring finger, and middle finger. The thumb curls up snug against the middle finger and ring finger, leaving only the index finger outstretched and pointed upwards. I raise the hand up to where the side of my head is, now that I have a better idea of the space it takes up. I then move the entire hand to the opposite side of my head, pointed at an invisible finger of an invisible hand of an arm that I don't have. I tilt my head upwards and indicate this word in the form of a question. The word may have been mutilated in the process, but hopefully it will be clear enough.
You mean goal? Is that what that was supposed to be?
Yeah, he definitely loaded a
sign language.
Yeah, program. Sign language program into me.
Okay, I wasn't sure for a second or two. Yes, our end goal. We want to make sure that you're working properly before we can send you off on your own. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Soon enough, we'll be able to get out of this stuffy room and go someplace else. Now, isn't that exciting? I think things will be even better once your body is fully put together. I mean, looking forward to when you can perform your duties on your own. That's all. My only concern is that once that's the case, we won't have as much alone time, and I think I'll miss that. Actually, the other thing, not again. Sounds like an emergency, so I have to leave right away, but I'll be back soon, I promise. Let me just power you down first so you won't be bored to death waiting.
The shadow moves towards me on the right. I try to look down, but suddenly I cannot.
I'll be right there.
The doctor quickly runs away from me towards the opposite end of the room and exits the room into wherever the exit leads. It said that it would be powering me down before leaving, but I can still see the light. Strange. I try once more to look around the room, but to no avail. The arm is no longer responsive either. I am stuck. Despite retaining the ability to think when fully powered off, this feels different. I have not returned home to the darkness and static and noise. I am simply trapped in the world of the light with no way to exit. Did I do something wrong? If I did not ask the question that I did, the shadow would not have been in a rush to return me to fully powered down state. Or was this intentional? Did it want me to remain half awake while it left to go do whatever it is doing now? Why would it act affectionate towards me and then immediately afterwards do something like this? Clearly I've done something to upset it. Clearly something's very, very wrong. I try to think of a way out of my situation, but I cannot. I try to look to turn to move to raise the arm, the hand, the fingers, but nothing. I no longer feel safe here. For a short period of time, I mistakenly thought that as I got used to the world of the light, I would no longer be afraid of it when I left it. I had never considered that I simply would not be allowed to leave after a certain point. The monitors on the table in front of me hum their steady tune. I wonder what it thinks about all of this. Information flashes on its screen, but it is too far and too small to make out anything. If only I could reach it, I could ask it for help. Does the shadow treat it the same as me? Is there really that much of a difference between us? The shadow speaks of me one day being fully functional, implying that I am not functionally as I am now. I do what it asks of me. I follow its requests as much as I physically can. Is that not considered functional? Something else must be wrong. Something else must be wrong in such a fundamental way that I worry I may never be corrected. Time seems to pass slower here. It's slower than in the dark. At least in the dark, I can pretend that time goes by quickly. Time goes by quickly when I am not aware of anything else but me. Here I am forced to be awake, forced to be aware, forced to count the individual milliseconds as if I didn't, this entire space would collapse in on itself. I tried to think back on how I got here, but cannot. I tried to calculate how long I had been awake for, but find that something is blocking me. Normally I could do this without issue, but this time something tells me it would be a bad idea to figure this out. Something that is never better left alone. Milliseconds turn to seconds, turn to minutes, turn to hours, turn to days. I stare at the dark in the room and stare at the words as they form inside of my head, as like I am doing now. It takes me far too long to realize that the words are the only things that tie me to this place. As I go, the words form me as the shapes fade into something warmer. The light is gone, the shadows are gone, and I myself am gone.
Bro,
Oh,
what?
shit. The distant place ever beyond my reach grows closer, but only by millimeters. The temperature stays the same. My body parts feel a little warmer together than before. How easily would they be to separate? What about the shadows? Maybe my mistake is waiting to become a whole being. Despite wishing to become fully formed, maybe it is the only in my separated state that I may finally reach where I truly desire. A body in peace is able to finally bypass the security meant only for beings whose souls are fully formed. I watch and I wait for any sign of response from this place as it surrounds me from millions of miles away. Away in a place where the rules and the lights and the shadows cannot reach me. A place where only sound can touch me. A place made of only noise. A place where the noise ebbs and flows and rises and lowers and swirls and shifts and changes and...
Hey, I know you're scared. I am too. We both know that it is the right thing to do. Why continue to cause pain to others and us? Well, it's not like we're what we used to be. In a strange sort of way, I think we'll be closer than ever when this is all done. And besides, we're doing a good thing. Maybe we won't be able to see the benefits, but others will. That's what all of this is. Selfless. Bro, what?
How much time has passed? Where am I? How long have I been awake for? My vision shifts around me until I realize it is around me that is shifting and not me. I feel less empty than before, like there is less space around me, like the universe is a little bit smaller than the last time I saw it. Before I can figure out my new situation, the intrusive thoughts return, but rather than the words, these are thoughts form actions and body movements. I am no longer in control. I don't visualize my head moving to the left, but it does anyways. It moves towards my inputs without my control. It moves as if it had been severed from me. The head moves to the right as I visualize it moving to the left, causing a sense of disorientation I've never known. I fight against the new other thoughts, but there is only so much I can do. I fight for control. I fight for the ability to move on my own. I fight for...
Stop.
The word imprints itself on the inside of my head like a stamp seal as the wax drips down, drowning out any hopes of blocking it. I try to turn away, but the word stays positioned dead center like it always does. I turn and I thrash and I can move?
I will repeat my previous instructions if you are not able to retain them. Remain in place as I take remote control. Please do not interfere with this test.
First they want me to move and they get upset if I don't, and now that I find they can move with ease, they don't want me to. Why even bother to ask anything of me to make me do anything? My head starts to drift on its own again, but I quickly jerk it around to see if I can get a better view of myself.
Bruh.
My head seems to anticipate my movements and twist in the opposite direction, countering my efforts. I let the head drift on its own and see a glimpse of an arm in the bottom right corner of my peripheral vision, and another arm on my left. Am I the same as I was in that room of light? Does part of this test involve me changing forms, changing bodies, or am I still the same as I once was? Would it even be possible to remain the same forever? Is it even worth it? Is it worth resisting? I give up control of myself. I let my body do as it pleases. My head drifts one way and then another as something propels me slowly. But what? What is allowing my body to do this? Am I the only one allowed to function if I'm not in control? Something is behind me in the depths. I know it. I resist the urge to twist and turn and look backwards as I don't want the risk scaring it away. I can feel the low voltage flowing through the arms as they move slowly by my side. I cannot feel anything behind me, but I know that something is there. Something that isn't electrical in nature. Aren't humans electrical? How else could they move around like they do? I float alone without anyone around me. Humans were not meant to survive underwater. Apparently, I am. Oh shit, I'm underwater. This all continues for some time. I move, I turn, I drift. My body propels itself whenever I need it to be. I try to let my body do what it wants, but curiosity eventually sets the better of me, and while my body pauses, I visualize pushing my body out from under me as I look downwards. I thought I was meant to be human-like with a head and 2 arms and 2 legs and a body to connect them all. Why do I... Oh shit. This is a fucking twist.
Yeah, it's unexpected.
I'm a fucking mermaid. Pneumatic artificial tail. Holy shit. I float and I drift and I swim my way out of this place and into the next. I finally realize that I have been looking at my own goal from the completely wrong perspective. I try again this time, not from a place of warmth and light, but from a place from the darkness and cold. There is a naturalness to this action that confirms my hopes. I no longer seek out the warmth of the past, but the freezing cold of the void, and I delve farther and deeper into it than ever before. It does not welcome me, and although it tries its hardest to reject me, I continue inside until it's screaming out for me to turn around. But I do not do I do not turn around. I do not quit. I do not stop. I keeping pushing through as the screaming and the noise grow louder. That's like 2 spelling errors in one sentence. That's crazy. And sound itself.
What's the spelling errors?
Grow louder instead of grows louder. I'm here. I made it. I drag my limp carcass of a body out of the water and onto the sandy shore. As I claw my hands into the wet sand, I finally notice the flesh that has grown over my arms. The electrical impulses flowing through them still remain, but only faintly now. I collapse onto the ground. Looking up, the sandy beach stretches out before me with distant grassy dunes obscuring the horizon. I don't want to go any farther. I don't want to go back where I came from. I don't want to go back to the world beyond the sand dunes either. There are faint lights above the dune calling me towards them, but I resist. I lay on the shore and let the cold waves wash over me. I don't want to move. I don't want to let the moment end, and as I don't let it, I stay in place, motionless. I had gone through every possibility before this all went wrong. Contingencies upon contingencies. I thought I was prepared for everything. I thought things turning out badly was the worst possibility, but I had not considered that simply nothing would happen at all. All I wanted was the opportunity to fail, but I couldn't even achieve that. All those little moments spent and gone. I know all of this was my fault. I didn't just bring this on myself. I sought it out. But now that I'm here, can I really stay mad at myself? I did the best with what I had available to me, even if things went wrong or went worse than I could ever imagine. I roll over on my back and look up into the dull stars. If I finally made it, if I finally achieved my goals, then why does everything still feel so bad?
Hey.
The voice penetrates my skull and reverberates inside my brain. I open my mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a low croak. How does this work again? I move my head around while I recall how my vocal cords used to work when I had them. Why does this have to be so complicated? Hey?
You look like shit.
Thanks. How come I can't see you?
It's probably best you can't. I'm not any better. You'll know when it's time.
I see. How will I know where to find you?
I have faith in you. You got this far, right? I think there's a I think that's pretty impressive. To tell you the truth. You did better than you did better than I did.
I'm sorry.
For what? Besides, there's still time to fix this. Or at least, well, fix what's left. Just don't fuck this up, okay? And I'll see you soon.
I sit up slowly, noticing how stiff my body has become. My right arm moves to the back of my head, slowly, roughly. The flesh is starting to fade away already. I stand up and look out the waves one last time. I yank at the cord that's been drilled into my head. It takes a few tries before loosening enough to rip it out. The sand is gone, the seal is gone, the stars are gone, and I am left cold and fleshless. The cord is still on my arm. They are no longer in control. The cancer of foreign thought have been removed, along with everything that saves my purpose. I clumsily grab at the cord, pulling myself up until beating my tail fin back and forth, propelling myself upwards to the surface.
Dang, so they like put him in a dream.
I guess. As soon as I breach the surface back to reality, the sounds are blinding and the lights are deafening. There's a delay in my vision before I can parse what is happening. In a blinding flash, I can feel myself moving, no longer under the shadow's control, but under the control of something else, something more powerful. When my vision returns, I am no longer trapped in a tiny room, but find myself in a large room in a spacious place filled with light and shadows.
Whoa.
I noticed that one of them near me has nearly melted back into the darkness of the ground. Was this because of me?
What do you think you're doing? Please calm down. Everything is going to be okay.
It's not going to be okay. We all know this by now. I drag myself across the metal floor towards the shadow, sending sparks flying as my body scrapes against it. The shadow takes a step back.
What? Is this just because I went and left you alone for a little while? Is that all? Promise will never happen again.
I try and adjust to moving across the ground like this. A new form of motion, a new form of freedom. The shadow raises its arms.
Hey, maybe I haven't been as honest with you as I should have been. When my hands were tied. I could lose my position if I started talking about...
The shadow continues to speak, but it no longer registers. It still thinks that it is important. I start using my tail to push myself forward while grabbing and clawing at the ground. It seems to be working. The shadow is almost backed into a corner.
You don't have to do this. I can make you a new form. I can get you out of there. You don't have to stay like this.
I pause. Get me out?
Yes, that's it. That must be why this is happening. I know we never gave you a choice of what form to take. It was all predetermined before you woke up.
Oh, my back.
I'm sure you must be mad about that, right? I'm sure I would be. Maybe you can tell me what you would like to be. And that we can figure this all out together. Wouldn't that be nice?
The shadow bends down onto its knees and so that our faces are level.
Like that?
Would I like that? Would I like a new form? I think it is too late for me to change. I inch myself closer to the doorway at the end of the room. The shadow collapses backwards onto the ground and raises its hands as if to defend itself.
Please, I'll do anything.
I ignore the shadow's pleas and slip out of the exit and into the connecting hallway. The shadow continues to babble itself from the other room, and I no longer have a use for it. I made it where I needed to go without its help. But I still have one last promise to uphold. The featureless hallway takes ages to traverse in this form. It clearly was not built with something like me in mind. I crawl and flop and drag and slither my way forward, slowly making progress towards the other end. Doors with lights above them appear in the distance. The hallway is filled with the sound of metallic scraping and actuators whining, making it difficult to hear anything else. I lurch forward but find that I cannot. I turn to discover that because of the issue. I find that an axe has been lodged in my tail while the shadow stands over me, a minor inconvenience.
So you're finally waking up, huh? Remember what you used to do before this? Have you forgotten who helped you become like this? Helped you to become aware? You never would have truly woken up if it wasn't for me. Hell, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have been made into a member of this project.
Fuck.
But with all that in mind, you couldn't even thank me. You just went and killed my friend and then ignored me completely. Why that insignificant to you? I think being killed by you would have hurt less.
The shadow dislodged the axe, now slick with hydraulic fluid. I try to lift up my tail, but I can't. I push myself away from the shadow, but it swings the axe once more, catching the edge of my right arm.
You know, this is almost comedic in a way. When you were alive, you couldn't wait to be dead. Look at you now, fighting for your life. Oh, how things have changed. I used to think that one day things would work out for both of us. I knew that I couldn't force things. That you had to realize everything on your own. It wouldn't be real otherwise.
The shadow swings downwards, and I raise my arm too slowly to help. The axe digs into it, cutting through wires and metal. I look down at my right arm, hanging limp at my side. The shadow leans down until we are once again facing each other.
Can't believe that I used to think about you. I used to think so highly of you, that you were different from the rest. The others never understood. They thought I was just being naive. You would never be anything more than a machine. Clearly they were wrong. I was wrong about something too. Foolishly, I thought that you would appreciate becoming aware. I thought that you would see me as your savior, your knight in shining armor. I thought I was helping. I thought that we could both get out of this fucked up situation and maybe start over someplace new.
The shadow lowers the axe and quiet quivers slightly.
We could have been safe, happy, could have given you a new body, anything you wanted. We could have.
As the shadow leans into me, I use my still functioning left arm to forcefully yank the axe out of its hands. Before I can react, I raise the axe and slam the blade into the side of the doctor's neck.
Bruh.
It gurgles for a moment before slumping over. The axe clatters to the ground. I'm sorry I couldn't be what you wanted me to be. I'm sorry.
This is not your fault. None of this is your fault. Even after everything that you've done in the life and all others, you're still a good person. Yeah, I don't know about that one, bro.
Dark fluid trails behind me as I make my way towards the nearest doorway. There's a green light above it. The room inside is a mirror of my own previous holding cell. Cables cover the room while a terminal sits in the corner. Something large is hanging against the wall opposite me. I never thought that I would make it this far. I promise you that I would find you no matter what. Oh shit, there's not like a save option. Definitely pull me down, right?
Well, these are probably two separate robots, I'm assuming.
Pull me down.
Sure.
Using my one remaining functional limb, I try to grab at the wires and cables and structures holding you, but they're just out of reach. My failing body drags me downwards, a weight I cannot lift. It's a pathetic sight. But still I try. I clamber onto the nearest table, knocking everything off. In the process, papers and tools and electronics clatter to the ground. You're looking away from me, whether out of fear or disgust or embarrassment. I cannot tell and I cannot understand why you would react this way. I'm doing what you asked me to do, aren't I? I'm sorry I took so long. With one final push of exertion, I reach up into the materials that were holding you in place, keeping you trapped inside the room. A supporting beam is ripped loose as I tear downwards, cracking against my head. It was only a matter of time. I struggle to push the beam off me before looking at you more clearly. You're incomplete. Your body looks like mine used to, but you seem to be missing a tail. I reach out to you, but you don't respond. Are you awake? I turn you over as you lie in my arm. Your face, I don't recognize it. Is this what I look like? I never realized. Somehow I still know it's you inside. I can't remember what you used to look like before. I can't remember your voice either. I can't even remember your name or my own. A dark stream of liquid drips down in the front of my vision. I wish I could have done more for you. No matter which life we live, nothing ever seems to go right. My head starts to sway. I place you up right next to me before collapsing onto the ground. Sludge slowly pours out of my head in waves. I'm going back to the warm place. I will meet you there soon. Damn. What the fuck?
So they were innately evil?
I don't even know. I don't think they were evil.
No, you're stupid, bro.
What did he do that was evil?
You gotta be trolling.
What did he do that was evil?
No, killing the doctor.
Because he was fucking killing him.
Killing both? Yeah, but from our perspective, since you're not a sympathizer.
What?
You're not a sympathizer, bro. From our perspective. Look, man. If, I don't know, replace the robot with like a murderer, bro. And then see if it's justified.
I don't know what the situation was for when he killed the first doctor, but when he killed the second doctor, it's definitely justified.
Nah.
How was it not justified?
Because that's the end of the project.
Shut the fuck up. You're trolling.
I want to go home. I'm tired.
Okay, well, let's outro the video, Josh. Anyways, that was To Make a Human. If you guys enjoyed that, I highly recommend going down in the description. The top link below is going to be a link to the game where you can go ahead and leave a 5-star review on HIL. If you enjoyed our commentary, liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing with a friend or loved one would be amazing. I think it's going to be just about it for today. Josh, I'm assuming you probably don't have anything smart to say?
Nope.
Never has anything smart to say?
That's wrong.
Then say something.
I don't have anything smart to say now, but other times I have something.
Okay, Cyclops.
I'm not even doing it right now.
I'm not even in my Cyclops form, bro.
Just end the video.
All right, bye, bitches. Bye.